Hey everyone! I wanted to do something a little bit simple today. This is a game called Home, a unique horror adventure by Benjamin Rivers. I've played through this once before, and it's a simple pixelated horror game that takes about an hour to play, and I thought it would be good as a one-off video to do. So, let's press... Oh, can I use controller? Cool. Wear headphones, turn off the lights. Okay. All I remember at that point was finding myself alone. Oh, oh my head. Where was I? It was so dark. There was something by my feet. A flashlight. So this is us. We're a ginger. That house. Where was I? I don't really know. But I also didn't even look the other way. So let's do that real quick. There's nothing. So I'm gonna call this guy Ron. Like Ron Weasley. Ooh. There was a body lying on the floor. Who was it? It's a good question, Ron. Is that a cat? Oh man, they put in controller vibrations. Interesting. Well, there's a door and stairs. Let's go through the door first. The desk had a computer and some papers on it, and a single drawer. I didn't want to snoop, but did I open the drawer? Yes. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why did this look so familiar? Ooh. Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of there. Yeah, preferable. So I guess it's the stairs with us. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of the house really knew the area. It's good to know. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. Ah, interesting. A black and white photo looked like the man upstairs and his wife, I guessed. There was no reason for me to keep this. Did I take it? Sure. I slipped the photo into my pocket. Maybe this would help me find some answers. That's true. So that's where we came from. We haven't gone down there yet. A thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? Aw. Yes? I don't know if it'll help or not. A collection of rusty tools. These looked like they'd seen a lot of use and were caked with damp-smelling dirt. Why weren't they in the shed? A photo similar to the old photo I picked up. It's been moved a lot. There seems to be a switch behind it. Yes! It depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. Well, I'm sure we'll figure that out. Well, that sure is a redhead-looking person. Maybe that's me. Don't know. Resident Evil style doors. Gotta love it. Now, hopefully this wasn't... Whoa. The door was taped, and it seemed to be stuck. By the smell, I guessed it led to the kitchen. That switch on the wall worked. The door had been unlocked. Well, good, that door I didn't even know I needed to have unlocked. Okay, so there's that, but we want to explore a little bit more. Hey, wait a minute. Now all of a sudden, oh, I guess I did that. Mirror. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was muck caked all over my shoes. I wonder why. The bathroom was spotless. Everything had been wiped to a sheen. I wonder if it was the man's wife who did the cleaning, or him. Well, that's... women do the cleaning. There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. Treetops? You mean that level in Spyro? The most difficult level in any Spyro game? The front door was blocked by a pile of furniture. I knew I would have to find my way out. Well, that's what you get, Ron. Let's go in here. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudgy to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Keycard, Ocker, last one I promise. It didn't make much sense at the time. Yeah, nothing else in here. Off we go into this door. And then... the box looked heavy, but there were marks on the floor. It had obviously been moved before. Maybe I had found a way out. I must have moved it, right? Why are you speaking in the past tense? I heaved the box forward and it finally gave. There was a ladder going underground. Where the box was a dank smell rose from the passage. Did I climb down the ladder? Yes, you did. I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant, like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wondered where the wife was. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. Footprints in the dirt looked like more than one kind. A lot of traffic. Places all over were marked on the old map of the town. The industrial area near the river, various houses, and even the water tower near the old rail station. Newspaper clippings from a local paper. They were all about murders in the town over the past few years. Wait. There were photos. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. Oh, Rachel, please be okay. I wanted to rush home, but I had to find a way out first and needed to see what else was down there. There's that ladder down there, but let's... oh, nothing else. Okay. Down we go. It was so dark down there, and the air smelled stale and putrid. I couldn't believe what I saw. What was this place? It's a setting for a horror game, Ron. Some kind of homemade rack, slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? Really, Ron? Crudely made shelves, they looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. There's another ladder. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom, something wet. Not blood. You only were able to identify all the other blood, Ron. The desk looked old and was caked with grime. On it was a stack of old faded paper covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out and illegible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. Heh, etc. None of it made any sense to me. There looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and the remains looked old. The faded clothes that stuck up amongst the dirt looked familiar. They looked like the clothes that woman was wearing in the photo I found. Was this the man's wife? Why was she still wearing the same clothes? That's gross. Some kind of old boxes. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute. These boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remembered throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing here? Good question, Ron. Ah, bats. That was cute, thank you. I remember noticing the broken ladder. I had to be careful. I don't remember if I jumped down there or found another way. It looked to be a long way. Did I jump down? No. Maybe there was some kind of other way to get down there without risking any more injury to my leg. Probably true. There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was. Did I take it? Yes. Maybe the rope would make that broken ladder easier to descend. Those were whispers. And I can't go forward. Wait, oh, that was the... I'll just take a look to make sure there's nothing else that I could use. And that's the way I came, right? Alright, let's try the rope. The rope I found would have let me climb down the ladder. Yes. I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before started to get worse. A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out, danger due to cave-in. Gonna keep going. How about that? Well, that door's different. My hands tingled from the burn of sliding down that rope. It was lucky I found that. Who knows what would have happened if I had jumped down? Well, we didn't find out. Still, it was all I could do to not have rushed out of that awful place. That rack, those terrible tools. What the hell was going on back there? The metal door groaned as I leaned into it, causing my heart to skip a beat at the sound. As I peered ahead into the dark of the next room, I worried that I should have taken that gun I saw. What gun? I didn't see a gun, but me with a gun? Well, spoiler alert, there's no combat in this. An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe someone crawled through there, but it was so high up that it must have been a sore landing. True. There was dirt on the ground, it looked wet, and there was grass smeared with it. So we had a ladder, and then we had a door. So let's check the door. I could hear a faint trickling sound like water. What was it? Heh. Exit. Sure, this'll work. There was a rusty ladder sunk into the water, which smelled disgusting. I knew that I couldn't climb down that. Maybe I could find a way to drain the putrid water. Oh yeah, just like in every game. It's never as easy as the exit. So, hold on a second. A kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? No. I was relieved to leave the filthy wet knife right there when I found it. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. What? Don't be making noises. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. Door number 1. Aha. I thought I could turn this water valve to shut off the flow. Did I turn it? Yes. It looked like I turned off the water flow from this valve. Cool. So that's number 1. Number 2 is this way. I thought I could turn this water blah 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 blah. Yes. The valve was still active. Did I turn it again? Yes. Cool. 3 and 4. Yes. it again. Click it again. So this is a fairly simple puzzle. You just gotta do them in the right order. Easy as that. I think. Guess we'll find out. If all the water is drained. No, what was... Oh, the door. Yeah. Cool, I can go down there now. So one of the things that I think is pretty cool about this game is that, it's obviously, indie developed. Maybe one guy, who knows, I haven't looked into it, but he tells it kind of like an old school game where you have to do a lot of reading. It looked like the water drained out from that grate in the wall. There was a small metal key left floating in the shallow pool of rancid water. Yes, I took it. No idea what it might open. Might open that door. But anyway, so you know how there's all this exposition to read, which is, how a lot of games used to be made. Is it this way? Because there was that locked door. No, it's some other way. So, I mean, old school games used to come with literal books that you would have to read along. The door was locked. There was a musty smell from inside. I guess I can't use the key. Okay. It was worth a shot. But yeah, so I think that's a pretty good approach if you just kind of want to make your game and don't necessarily have all the money. Considering a lot of people go in that direction with, pixelated games and low res. The safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was this facility? I don't know. The door was locked. I could see a faint light from within. Man, I have all these locked doors. I have a key. Oh. There was a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what happened. That looks like a jellyfish. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. He was a mess. He looked like he'd been stabbed. I could see a key ring that had fallen out of his pocket. Did I take it? Yes. I worked up the nerve to snatch the key ring away from put it in my own pocket. But now what? Now, was this the door I just came out of? Yes. I could smell a hint of fresh air here. I was anxious to leave, but I couldn't help wondering what that key unlocked. Okay. I'll go back. I could use the key ring to unlock the door. Good. The shelf full of security tapes was strictly organized, though covered in dust. Must have been old if they still used VHS. Odd, one of the tapes was missing. It's really not that odd. The security desk was dusky, and there was a dirty coffee cup there. The VCR still looked like it worked. Well, I've gotta find a VHS then. Now where? Well, I have that key ring now. Can I go through that other locked door? I wonder. I think it was this way. I tried a bunch of the keys on the keyring I had found in the sewer, and one of them seemed to fit. Ooh. A collection of stale liquor bottles covered the floor. The wall was littered with dozens of old faded papers. Whoever did this was obsessed with some local murders. According to some of the clippings, bodies had been found in the ravines, in the forest, and in one case dumped in the back of an abandoned truck. I couldn't be sure, but I thought some of these same articles had been pasted up back in those tunnels. It's very possible. A faded receipt was half trampled on the floor. It was from the local train station. It was for 2 tickets. I didn't know what use it could be, but did I keep the receipt? Yes. I neatly folded the soiled receipt and slipped it into my front pocket. Okay. Might be important. You never know. Now I just have to... Was there any other locked doors? Hey! What's even a horror game without a little bit of jump scares? I can't remember. I did not want to go back into those tunnels. Okay. Well, I'll just keep going on then. So, you know, a little bit of backtracking. It's pretty easy to get lost in this game because everything looks the same. Let's go. No. I was in here before. Nothing helped. This must have been the other end of that ventilation shaft. Whoever used it could have gotten past that flooded room with this. I moved slowly up each slippery rung of the ladder. My leg throbbed with each step. Who hid all those newspaper clippings away in that room? I held onto the ladder with one hand while I fumbled around in the dark, finally catching a heavy latch above me. With it opened, I heaved a sturdy lid open, and the musty scent of pine trees rushed toward me. And now we're outside. That was an unnecessarily creepy door. An old ladder leading up to an ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend the ladder? Yes. I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. But first... What's this way? Need to know. I tried the little key I had fished out of my murky terrace. I fit and I heaved the rusty door open. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had become strangely chilly. But I'm not ready. Because I think that... there's so many options. I'm going to go up the ladder first. Because if it goes up to a water tower, that means there's probably nothing else, like, really up there. Oh, except some bats. Ooh. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? I don't know. Yes? The wallet was missing ID or cards, but it had a bit of cash left in it. I slid in my back pocket and wondered where my credit card and where my driver's license were. Ugh, not good. From the railing I could see over the woods and down to the entrance to the sewers. Had I come through there before? If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. Yeah. Alright, let's go through the furthest door first. Doors don't sound like that. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on the map I had seen. Whoever was poking around in those tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the signs pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Oh, right, this part. Well, we don't want to come here yet. I'm going through the other door. With the unnecessarily squeaky squeak. Nothing this way. Now, you know, even though that this is, you know, pixelated, you can still see, like, little details, like scraps of stuff flying up when I walk. And that means that, you know, this person really cared about this game, you know? The old train station was quiet as a tomb. How would you know how quiet a tomb is, friend? The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting in the decrepit structure. See, and then, like, the little drops. That's a nice touch, you know? Got a door that way. And a door this way. Let's pick this one. An old map encased in glass hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to the old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in those tunnels had similar locations marked. And the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned the water tower and even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? That's all good questions, Ron. Oh no, I'm back outside. There was a torn opening of that ruined train where heaps of dirt and stale water. At the bottom, I thought I saw a scrap of cloth. As I looked closer, I could see that it was definitely some kind of nylon, maybe a windbreaker or some other outdoor clothing. There was too much of a mess on the ground to see any kind of footprints, but someone or something had definitely trod a regular path. Interesting. Through the other door now. Is my limp getting any better? Don't know. Probably not. I can't, turn on the lights. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined. Inside the ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait, what were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. This station had been closed for years. The ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher-looking papers covered in tiny notes, scribbles, and diagrams. Well, that doesn't really help. I think that's the only place we... Yeah, that's it. Alright, well, we'll press forth. And there was nothing this way? Okay. Off we go. With creepy doors. So, this, if I recall, is a bit of a puzzle. We gotta go through various paths. The worn picnic table stood within a circle of trees like an altar. It was covered in faint markings and carvings from who I assumed were previous campers and hikers. Fascinating, Ron. The path ended in a cold-looking river. I wasn't sure if it was safe to cross like this. Did I cross it? No. In that darkness, it didn't seem wise to try. Maybe there was another option. Yeah, good idea, Ron. So that was that path. Let's go through this one. Trampled into the dirt was Dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and surprised to see it was my credit card. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take my credit card? Now, I feel like it wouldn't be a good idea to keep my stuff around where there could be a crime scene, so I'm going to take it. I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully I could find my driver's license too. Alright, we have another path there. Through the fence I could see a I can't speak. Dilapidated building. I wondered if I could find my way around. Let's go through this path. Oh, now we have... Wait. No, I'm back here. Ooh. There was a fire pit there, and it was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. 2 folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. The cheap stone tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler. Somebody didn't have a good time here. Now, which one did I pop out of? Because now I've got several paths. This is when we're going to get lost. Ooh, something's out there. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Yes. Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was a page after page after one page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Rachel? Rachel! Her name was last on the list, and it had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. Oh, Ron, what have you gotten yourself into? I think I came out of that one, so let's try this one. Another path. No, no. No, no. Don't what? The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. There was a damp-smelling plank leaning against the stall door. It might have been able to... Yes, let's take it. I managed to carry the plank under my arm so it didn't get in the way. So why aren't you that creepy, that door? There's so many paths. Let's go through this one. So it's very easy to get lost in this section. The sign was the same as I had seen, the first one I'd seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. But I'm not ready, because I gotta cross the river. Which means I have to somehow find my way back. It will not be easy, friends. Let's go through this one. Let's try this. And this. I figure at some point I must get to where I need to go. Ah, see, I can hear the water. The plank I found was long enough to form a crude bridge, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. Did I use it? Yes. Ooh. I love the rumble feature that they added, honestly. Oh. 2 bodies, 2 young women, were half dug into a hasty, shallow grave between the trees. The younger-looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserved better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Why would I put my evidence there? No. The thought of touching those poor girls almost made me sick. I left everything right where it was. The police could sort it out. Well, we found those names that were crossed off on the list, I bet. Did I cross back over to the other shore? Yes. Oh boy. Alright, so now we have to find our way back to where the exit of the woods is. So, as you can see, this path is kind of complicated, but we'll manage, okay? Okay, no, this is a dead end. There we go. I had finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I never wanted to return there. But thankfully we have this creepy door. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. I must have been at the edge of the forest, though I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel the cryptic notebook in my pocket as I tried to think of what it could mean. And where were the campers who had abandoned their site? Would I meet them too? I thought the path ahead of me was less dense. I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? The developers of this game. Now we're on a long road and a door that's still making creepy noises. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a mechanist for those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. It never is, Ron. Big hole. Oh wait, I didn't... No, I did. I wanted to go through the door first. You're a different Squeak. Ooh. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electronic box under the handle. A sign was pasted to the front that said, "Danger, closed for repairs." There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to the other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and cobwebs had collected in the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. The door was locked tight. It seemed to be connected to the power box. So we're going to need to turn that on. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellowed clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes to and from the guys that worked here. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Norman. I suspect Norman. We got stairs, our old break table. The layer of dust and grime only made seeing the sting more. Alright, let's try the door first. Squeak. Ooh, that looks important, but let's not touch it yet. That also looks important. Okay, we got lots of things to look at. My ear itches. Okay. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable. Was it a naked lady? A power panel. It looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Maybe I need to push it again. The power panel still wasn't working. Did I try it again? Ah, good. Power panel, yes. Well, that's fine. I'll leave that like that. It was shut tight. There was a rusty-looking card slot on the side. Man, so many things I gotta do. Let's head upstairs. Door. The door had been hastily boarded up. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked there. Yes, another panel that I hope could get me back the... Yeah. Yes. Good. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. Yes, I would like that hammer. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. You're very observant, Ron. Yes. Let's push it again. Huh. Did I try it again? Interesting. Yes. Let's try it again. Yes. Good. Okay, we got stairs. Ooh. I struck it with the hammer. The old wooden boards came apart easily. After I had removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. What's in here? This was my locker, there in the factory. It stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. Doesn't sound good. The floor was littered with old liquor bottles. I wondered if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at this place. These are all good questions, Ron. Have I been in here yet? Yes. Oh wait, were there... Oh, I was about to say, were there hints as to what position it needed to be on the side, but it's not. Now I think we can go through that door. But that's not here. It was shut tight. Okay. This isn't the area. But I need to remember that there's a card reader there. So was it downstairs? Yes. The power box looked like it was running again. Good. With the power box working again, the door was unlocked. Did I go through? Yes. A rack of flashlights hung on the wall. One of them was missing. It's of no coincidence that I have one, right? My head pounded as I stepped back outside, once again enveloped in the scent of pine trees and muck. The path beyond was terribly dark, and I was grateful that my flashlight was still working. I wondered, though, was it taken from the plant? It sure seemed to, but how did I get a hold of it? I had little choice but to follow the path and hope that it got me back to town. I wondered. Norman had his store along the main road. Was he close? If he was, I could certainly use some help. Okay. A pickup had smashed into the guardrail and stood silent. Was this the truck that the newspaper clippings mentioned? Was there really a body found there, too? Maybe. Ooh, did you see those eyes? It was creepy. Let's just keep going. There's probably some other stuff that I could explore, but I'm just gonna keep going forward. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food in slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it? Yeah. I cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I tucked the card into my wallet next to my credit card. Don't you think it's a little suspicious that all these things were found here? Sounded like it was going to start raining. I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet, except for the faint sound of a television. Okay, we got stairs, we got a door. The entrance to the front of the store was locked from the inside. Looked like I could just pop it open if it needed a key. There's a bit of blood on the keyhole. Oh, Norman, what did you do? Door. Let's try this door. What the hell? One of Rachel's old autumn coats hung on the rack. That was Norman's bedroom, wasn't it? What was this doing there? There was a well-maintained gun cabinet here in Norman's room. I didn't know much about guns, but it looked like he kept a few hunting rifles. Yes, my wifey's coat. Let's go downstairs. Whoa. Oh, sorry, I missed that. I need to check that place out and see if I could find Norman or get help. Oh, am I back at the beginning, I guess? Yes, I am. My bad. So I can actually go through this door with the blood. That's good. The TV still flickered some indecipherable channel, as it always does. Oh no. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my co-worker, and one of the few friends I had in this town lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been killed trying to get up. His eyes were still wide in shock. Norman, what was Rachel doing here? Why did you have her coat? Norman, maybe you deserved better. You probably did. Did I close his eyes? I'm not leaving my fingerprints at the scene of the crime, no! Sorry, Norman, but at that moment I was too confused to worry about you. I need to find Rachel, to find some answers. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean, but there were water rings from 2 cups that were in the wood. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. Did I dig that mess? Did I? Yes, I did. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Well, I bet I could use that to lockpick, because I know how to do that. Right? Seems like everyone knows how to pick locks in settings of suspense. Okay, I already went that way. Even though I'm sure that picking a lock is way more complicated. I used the hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The general store was clean. Was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. The icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be much better shape then. What else would I be forced to endure before the end? Seeing Norman up there, dead, it turned my stomach just to think of it, but I couldn't put it off my mind. How was he involved in all this? This was getting worse and worse. I was starting to feel incredibly vulnerable. As I stepped out into the rain, I realized how close I was to home. I hoped I would soon find my answers. There's that, but what's this way? Another door. Oh my gosh. There are a lot of doors. Okay, well, we'll just start with this last one. I had the wrong gate. This one was locked. I'll just assume that this is the right one instead of checking all the other ones. And that... oh, what's this? The neighbor's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? Yes. There was no return address, but the envelope was addressed to Norman. Carefully, I tore it open and looked at the letter inside. It read, "Stay away, she's mine." That was it. No signature, no other information. And we've got more gates. Oh, I bet it's that one with the bloodstain. Just saying. Probably. I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. Your backyard is very boring. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. It's okay, Ron, let's go. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. It always is. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? I don't know, Ron. But these are valid questions. The door to the basement, it was locked. Where did I put that damned key? I don't know, Ron. I don't live here. There was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had it been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The front door was locked from the inside. I couldn't go out, though. I would needed to see if Rachel was here. More stairs. Stress door. I had found the last missing piece from my wallet, an old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? No. There was no reason to hold on to old memories. I had my license and my credit card back. That was enough. Our television, I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterward, but by then it was too late. Yeah, it's true. The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. Let's keep exploring our house. The books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in the house had some of the same books as I did. It's weird. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remembered it from that trip we took out west. Did I open the suitcase? Yes. I wasn't sure what to make of the contents. Inside were a few days' clothes, train ticket. I checked the date and time. It matched the receipt I found in the back of the sewers. What was this? Rachel, who were you running away with? Ron, what did you do to Rachel? I can't really trust Gingers. Our hallway mirror had been smashed, its pieces scattered around the floor. It's unfortunate. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't gotten around to fixing it yet. You're so useless, Ron. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old clawfoot bathtubs. You're so fascinating. My laptop had been left on, and only a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key on top of the desk, yes. I pocketed the key. Now I have to remember where that locked door was. Was it you? No. You only have one option to go down. Was it you? The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned key underneath the handle. Not that. I unlocked the basement door. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key, yes. try to remember what it unlocked. Probably that other door. Let's go check that out. Now this was the kitchen. Gotta go back upstairs. This one, right? The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked the door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did someone break in here? There was an old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take the crowbar? Yes. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. Why did you appreciate its weight? Well, that's all we found in there. And we need to go to the basement. A door and stair transition. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yes. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Probably not. Don't look. Okay. Oh great, I have newspaper clippings. These all look like things I saw and found. Don't look. A filthy-looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within. But I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel. Now, this is the part where I want to talk about how I did, like I said, I played this game before. You might have noticed by now that all the time it said, did I do this? Did I take this? Not will I or do I? They're always in the past tense. When I played through this first, I kind of didn't realize it. And if I say no, does that mean she's still alive? The rags were wet, matted, covered in dirt and grime. But inside that tattered mess was no sign of my beloved wife. Rachel wasn't there. I looked around in confusion, trying to figure out what to do next. If she wasn't there, where was she? What had I been searching for this entire time? I remembered the look on Rachel's face when I came home, didn't I? Then the awful realization hit me right in the gut. I had been looking at this the wrong way, hadn't I? This is what you've been trying to tell me all along, isn't it? I couldn't find Rachel there, and I won't find her anywhere else because she was never there at all, was she? I stumbled back upstairs, the pain in my leg just a dull ache now, and sat down in my bedroom. My mind was spinning, and the ache I felt before was near crippling. Finally, I could no longer fight the exhaustion, and I tried to grab a hold of something that would make sense of all this. I must have drifted off. I guess these books were all actually mine then. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or someone else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking again, or maybe someone stole it from me. Norman's store, that forest, the water tower. Was I at those places before? No. No, there was no way that was me out there. I woke up in that house, remember, and I wasn't off in any damn forest. Do you see how you can suddenly start controlling the story? This is like something that kind of blew my mind when I first played. It was the letter I had taken from the post box. It had gotten a bit wet in the rain. Somebody had obviously had it out for Norman, but who? Oh no, Norman. If I was wrong about Rachel, then what about him? Did I kill him? No. I couldn't have. I clearly wasn't seeing things correctly, but no, I could never do something like that. That note wasn't from me. Oh my god, sorry, bless me. I had that old TV for so long I don't know if I could ever replace it. I don't know if there's anything else I can look at. How many breakfasts had I eaten there completely alone? It's a good question. The pile of mail on the floor, I now saw, was addressed to me. Bills, credit card offers, the letter from the bank. They were all addressed to me. I wasn't going to leave. I had to at least get some answers first. Oh, so I still have to look at everything else? Okay. I couldn't go back. Okay. So do I have to just, like, look at everything else again? Oh. My old office safe sat on the floor. It used a digital padlock code. Did I try to open it? 8-digit code. What was the damn code again? I don't know. 6666666666666. No, that wasn't it. Damn, I couldn't remember. 8 names written alongside those odd marks in different colors printed on that notebook. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose. I recalled the names I saw scratched down the old desk deep within those musty minds. Was the man in the house really up to something? Now, I have to try to remember. I should probably look up what the code is. Because I don't think I ever got it. 1 second. Home. Game. Code. What is the code of the safe? Aw, thank you, Google. If you ordered the special edition and got the physical items, go to the page here and you can get the code file names. If you bought the Steam version, the code, same as see, it's written in the PDF manual, but, we're just gonna pretend like I read that. Safe use, what was the damn code again? So it's 4 R, do I have to capitalize it? R 3 UHER 3. There was a poorly framed photo of what looked like a small headstone in the graveyard. It was tucked away peacefully under a beautiful old maple tree. Underneath it was another sheet of paper. It looked like some kind of MRI printout. It showed the top view of a brain scan. I noticed the bottom of the scan had 2 whitish patches on it. I didn't recognize either image. Finally, at the bottom of the pile was a simple white envelope. The front of it read, "Do not open until I tell you." I guess this was as good a time as any to see what was inside. Did I open the envelope and read what was inside? Yes. I tore open the envelope and removed the yellow-lined paper inside. On it was a letter written in a hand that looked familiar. The letter read, "I know this whole event has probably been pretty difficult. You can't imagine how hard it's been for me, too. Well, maybe you can. That isn't meant to be an excuse, but, well, I hope you can better understand why I've done what I've done. Moving to this town seemed like such a dream, a quiet place to get established, to live out our lives and be together. But you know as well as I do that things quickly changed. Your drinking was one thing, but as you grew more distant, as you retreated into that world of yours, well, it was clear you didn't need me as much. In fact, maybe you never needed me at all. But it took all this to make you realize. In the end, though, you may never forgive me for this. You may never forgive yourself, but this is probably for the best. You'll be healthier for this. I'm just sorry it had to happen this way. Rachel." That sucks. How did he end up dead? When I came to this, he was already on the floor. Anyway, that's a little treat for anyone who actually reads the manual. Nobody reads the manual. Norman, you poor bastard, blah. I already looked at that. I don't know if that really clears anything up, though. It was the photo of the other man and his wife that I found in that house. Were those really his wife's remains in the tunnels? It certainly seems so. What did I think? Did the other man murder his wife and bury her in the tunnels? Yes. The sick bastard must have. What else did that mean? There were some questionable things in those tunnels. What else was wrapped in there? Okay, this is where I came out of. In the shards of that broken mirror, I could see my face gaunt and hollow and sickly and immensely troubled. What other illusions had I dreamed up? What other truths were waiting to be exposed? In the dirty, faded glass, I looked like nothing more than a faint shadow. I used to tell myself that Rachel was the one who wanted to keep the tub. The laptop had finally run out of power. Can I leave now? Have I found everything? I'll just do another look around. Already looked at that. So, if you're interested in this game, I do implore you to play it yourself, because you're going to find that the ending is going to be different depending on the stuff you picked up. It seemed like I had seen all there was. Maybe I thought I was ready to go back into the basement. But yeah, if you play this game yourself, you can make your own choices. Maybe there wouldn't be anything for me to find, but I had to take a last look. Because it really kind of shapes your story. The wall was cracked and pitted. I was told by an inspector the basement had been partially filled in before I bought the house, but by the look of that wall, I was going to need to fix the foundation. Wait. Now it's not there. Huh. That was it. With Rachel gone, I couldn't stand to be in that house a moment longer. Did I leave and say goodbye to that nightmare forever? Yes. Since I had arrived in town, things had been difficult. Working in that plant, though, had been good for me. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. Drinking was probably just a way to deal with it. It was almost as if my brain was trying to beat, it was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense, and sometime after that, and my memories of what happened are still in flux. I suppose that was when Rachel came along. This night had been the worst of my entire life. Would it even be possible to bounce back from everything that had happened, everything I'd seen? You know, in a way, I almost wish I hadn't even woken up tonight. It would have spared me a lot of pain. That man I had found in the old house had killed his wife, and I was sure of it, just as sure as you killed mine. And what was hidden within those sewers I had found? The tunnel to the man's house obviously led there. But was there something I missed? Was I so busy worrying about Rachel that I was blind? You know, I didn't know who had taken my wallet, but I knew it wasn't me, who had been all over town, at Norman's or in that forest. I don't care what you think. I may be mad, but it wasn't me. There were plenty of other people to blame for this. Why don't you start thinking about them instead? That forest, though, there was no escape either. That notebook especially left me troubled. I remember seeing a similar list on the desk back in the sewers, in the tunnels. Who were the girls mentioned there? I suspected there was more to those woods than I knew, though I had no intention of going back. The old factory used to be a haven of sorts, but when I saw it again, saw it tonight, it was nothing but. To those faded walls, those long dead sounds, they had stirred something in the back of my mind, but I wasn't sure what. Who had been in that boarded up room anyway? I had to catch my breath to take it all in. At each point until the factory, things had only gotten worse. But then going to Norman's store, that's where the confusion and doubt started to set in. That's when my perspective on all this really started to change. No, Norman. I don't know how you got mixed up in all this, but someone had killed you. My head was a mess. Everything ached and was foggy, so I don't know if you deserved what you got in the end. We were friends once, weren't we? Did you know about all this? Did you know what happened, what Rachel was? But as painful as all that was, oh no, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all I had seen and done, finally coming home was supposed to be the end to this entire ordeal. I had no idea, though, that it was only the beginning. The silence in the house when I had first stepped through the kitchen door, it should have been my first clue. To think that I went through all of that completely unaware of what I would discover. Did you know before the end? Did you mock me when you finally showed me the truth? You don't know what it's like to have everything ripped away from you in a heartbeat. How could I possibly go on now without knowing what I do, without Rachel? Even the thought of Rachel was truly lost. As the door swung open, I could smell damp grass and the closeness of the air. After everything, it felt like I had more questions than answers. You made me see the truth. I'll give you that, but now I was completely lost. You took away the only thing that kept me going. I was sure word would get out, and soon enough the police would come looking for me. And what then? Would you be there to show me the way? What would I do then? So that's home. So, like I said, depending on how you decide to play this game, the ending of your story can be completely different. So it's extremely simple, because, it's an indie game. Home is dedicated to my wife, Nancy. Watch your back. Nice. So, if you're interested in having a little bit of a narrative story, Home is available on it. That's cool. Share your story? Oh, it's gonna take me to the internet. Well, I don't need that right now. But yeah, so that's Home. You can check it out if you want a little hour-ish adventure to tell your own story. Go ahead and quit. So yeah, that's Home.